of law. Seriously, remember, yours truly is also actually senior counsel. And I think it's about time the country tried a lawyer to sort out the mess. The other day I saw William Ruto say he's a very proud farmer and that kind of thing. I cannot do business as president. I will just lead. I'm a leader. I'm not a businessman. So we will create the environment for this country to prosper, realize, as I said, Vision 2030, which Kibaki and I started, right? And from there now go to the next level. We must get the country back on the right footing and make sure there are no police brutalities, right? I want to invite William Ruto and his team to again read the Constitution clearly. The rights, the Bill of Rights is very clear. We imported the entire Bill of Rights into our Kenyan Constitution. Therefore, Kenyans now know their rights, all right? It's important that the next leader will make sure that this country is run in accordance with the Constitution.
And for the Gen Zs who are listening to you right now, what's the difference between Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka and William Ruto? What's the difference?
Well, I wouldn't want to, I would never order them to be shot. I want those Gen Zs to know it is not enough to say, oh, okay, we are going to compensate you, we killed you, we give your parents 100,000 shillings. And by the way, if William Ruto is thinking about that compensation, I want to ask, what does it cost to have one Kenyan life lost? You cannot compensate monetarily. Young people with a whole future ahead of them. Look at the fallen Martin Masai who fell because he was shot on the legs. Yeah, Boniface Kariuki, whom we went to bury, and poor fellow was selling masks to demonstrators, peaceful demonstrators, right? So we will be different, definitely. Even as I speak, I'm not William Ruto. I can never be William Ruto. The country is also reeling from politics of deceit. I mean, day in, day out now, ordinary young people are saying, whom do we trust? I want to tell them that because of my experience and what we really have to offer, they can rely that what I say as head of state, I'll mean what I say and make sure that this country is again back on its feet. As I said, under the Constitution, and also a God-fearing country, we will not order goons. We will get goons out of our streets. For goodness sake, the police will have to know they are servants of the people. Of course, we will also cut down taxes. We need to bring investment. Remember, I talked about 24-hour economy. We will be in a hurry to restore the confidence of the investors can come and invest in this country. Right now, there is capital flight, the opposite of what should be happening. So there's a lot we can do. Of course, we are working out a detailed manifesto. But Kenyans are now got to a stage, and I do understand if they are a bit skeptical, when you say I've got a manifesto, they say another manifesto. The manifesto number one, they simply be saying William Ruto has to go. By the way, I have to encourage him to begin to socialize himself to the possibility of an election loss. He will not be the first one. When in 2002 we elected President Kibaki, President Moi was seen like a strong man, but Moi graciously handed over to Kibaki. Uhuru Kenyatta graciously accepted defeat, and that is what made him a statesman. We want William Ruto to prepare himself to accept, because he's behaving as if he cannot win, he cannot accept a win, a loss. He cannot accept, and making Kenyans believe that he's insurmountable. I want him to prepare himself so that we have a tradition of leaders accepting defeat, all right? So I wanted to make that very clear to him.
Yeah. Look, you belong to a group that calls itself the United Opposition.
United Alternative Government.
That one, okay.
Because you don't want Kenyans to think opposition.
Right.
For the sake, what this country needs is not even opposition. It is a working system that delivers the best to its citizens.
Okay, there are others in your group who want to be president as well.
Yes.
Fred Matiang'i wants to be president.
Indeed.
Ricky G wants to be president.
Yes.
Martha Karua wants to be president.
Indeed.
Maybe even George Natembeya wants to be president. Eugene Wamalwa. Do you have a working formula for who you're going to select, or is it going to be a grouping that's going to be scattered when you get closer to the election time?
Yeah, well, let me tell you, this is a serious enterprise. It is a type that requires, like we did in the case of Kibaki, we were all running. By the way, in 2002, I was running for president. The late Jose Totu was running. Yes. Raila Odinga was running. Nyachai seriously was running. And they all didn't end up running. We have to get a formula. And of course, we ask for Kenyans to pray for us. I'm sure we'll get a formula. We'll get a formula.
Are you talking? Are you?
Oh yeah, we talk. We talk, but at the moment, that is not our priority. The priority is now to make William Ruto one term and to give confidence to the young Kenyans who have been killed for no reason whatsoever. That's our number one thing. Unity of purpose, right?
Yeah.
And when the chips are down, I'm quite sure we all look at each other. Fred Matiang'i said he would want some scientific method. We use all those things, yeah, to arrive at the next leader.
And if you're not the one?
Well, of course, if I'm not the one, I will support. I'm known for that. I supported, even when I was not, when I was taken through an interview, I supported. But I think the country is saying, wait a minute, this man, why him? This time, let's try him. It's not a matter of trying. This man is tried and tested. You also need a father figure, by the way. Not one who every morning wakes up and is either deceiving people or making them go through very impossible situations like Raphael Tuju. I was very angry when I saw the way they tackled Raphael Tuju. Yeah, he's treating him like a terrorist in front of a senior counsel, brought him peaceably to a police station, and they turn on him and become brutes. So we must change this country, and we are determined, and I believe the country will stand with us. It's not a normal time.
Yeah. One of the things you've been criticizing, you and your colleagues, is Shah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you have an alternative to Shah?
Of course. Shah has come out like a cartel. I have a little daughter there working called Mwangangi. I don't know why they gave her that job, an impossible job. We wish her well. But National Health Insurance Fund had these shortcomings. All you needed to do was to rectify that. But right now, it is terrible. It is really terrible. Teachers and everybody, teachers are falling out of it, right? Nobody has confidence. And end up with an administration which also wants to take over Nairobi Hospital, take over that. They forget that Kenyatta National Hospital is a mess. Moi Referral Hospital in Eldoret is a mess. So why don't we rectify those that are within their province and leave alone a hospital run by Kenya Hospital Association? I think I'm actually a member myself. I think you also must be a member.
Correct.
A company limited by guarantee. Charles Njonjo, the late Charles Njonjo, was a chair, and that hospital was running, right? Again, I mean, there are no angels out there. We are told that this hospital made a lot of money, all right? 12 billion, not profit, because when you are limited by guarantee, you don't make profit,
yes,
right? But people realize, wow, 12 billion. People are interested in procurement, contracts, and things like those. So they try and mess up there. We understand there may have been senior doctors also who have genuine concerns about the way the hospital should be run, but not this kind of approach. So SHA, Social Health Insurance Fund, just like other funds, yeah. Look at National Infrastructure Fund. And Sovereign Wealth Fund. What William Ruto's administration wants to do is to remove parliamentary oversight, create through some system of selling parastatos. And I must tell you, I was in court this day. By the way, the day I went to try to help Tuju, I'd come out of court where we got orders against the selling of the shares by this administration to Safaricom shares. And I'm so happy we stopped that. And Justice Mugambi agreed with us that now, no, you don't deal. As we speak, they are not dealing. Although they had the 1st of April deadline to comply with whatever else. But a stop was made there. 3 judges have now been appointed by the Chief Justice, right? And I want you to realize that as vice president, I wasn't regular in court. But I had now to come out, pull my sleeves, when I saw Jomo Kenyatta International Airport being privatized in a manner which was opaque and therefore denying, in fact, being a security installation. We had to come up and stop it. Now, we've done the same with Safaricom. We hope that judges will agree with us when we now come to make presentations, because this is literally the goose that has been laying the golden egg for Kenyan youth, innovation and things. Our M-Pesa application is world famous. Yeah. Now you want to just give that away? What are you going to leave our children with? So there's a lot we can do. So this SHA thing is terrible. Now look at e-citizen. Have we not read that a day ago, some people are actually withdrawing monies? We ask ourselves, who is it who has withdrawn 63 billion shillings out of e-citizen? So what we have is an administration which is actually a thieving cartel. I'm reminded of the one time Edward Clay, High Commissioner of the UK,
yes,
who said, "We have stolen and you're vomiting on our shoes." Now we're vomiting on each other's shoes. We must get our country back. That's why, Jeff, I believe it is important. Time is of the essence, and we are not going to leave anything to chance. So our teams are clear. Yeah.
And you were around that time, and you remember Zaire and under Mobutu.
Yes.
They called it a kleptocracy.
Indeed.
Remember? A government run by thieves.
It's worse. This is worse. This is incredible. And if you come to think of it, how do you sell the parastatals, and then you have you kind of now all these parastatals now will be now run as companies limited by shares, which means some fellow will just wake up, buy everything, all right? And we cannot accept. We can't accept.
When you were education minister, you remember back then?
Yes.
And you're trying
I outlawed corporal punishment, by the way.
Oh, that was horrible. You shouldn't have. You shouldn't have.
It's the right of the children worldwide. So I had to do that. I said there shall be no corporal punishment. Because I also remembered I was growing up.
Yes, you were.
One classmate was almost killed by a teacher.
Oh.
He was beaten dead. He survived somehow. And when I remembered that, I said, no, we must outlaw corporal punishment.
Now you
but
see,
it's not a case of sparing the road and spoiling the child. No, you must get a balance.
What do you think of CBC or CBE or whatever they call it now?
Parents don't know what to do with year 10. There's a gap. I heard the other day from the Catholic Bishop of Machakos, that over 360 day schools are closing down. And if you remember, Uhuru actually came up with a free day schooling, and that was a big achievement. Now, those are closing down. I think William Ruto is in a hurry to implement this CBC thing. This is why one of the things we shall be able to do very quickly and precisely, because we also don't want to end up confusing children, right? Is to have a quick look at this whole thing. Yeah.
Thousands of teachers have been trained.
Yeah.
Waiting to be deployed. The government can't pay them.
They can't even employ the 44,000 interns.
Yeah.
I saw the poor TAC CEO, acting CEO.
Yes.
A good lady in my view. Yeah. I don't know whether they have not confirmed her, Mitabe or somebody.
Yeah.
I actually visited her in her office. I thought she makes sense. But she's now faced with an impossible situation. 44,000 interns. William Ruto cannot even employ them. All right?
Yeah.
So it's complete confusion in the education sector, and we must set it right. And even teachers do not know, under this CBC, kids are tried now. It used to be when you do well, like I'm an old boy of Meru School, we were celebrating 70 years, and our motto was, in understanding be men, right? Now, this CBC thing, when you score well, you get an E, all right?
Yeah.
Surely, even psychologically, an E was a failure. Now, then you double E or something, exceedingly something.
Yes.
I think they were in a hurry to implement a system that they themselves were not sure about. So these are things we must set her right. Education is everybody. If you confuse our children's education, then you end up confusing whole generations. So we will act in a hurry to streamline it.
Real quick, if you were president under Shah, what would you do? Would you reverse it? Would you go back to NHIF?
Of course you go to NHIF and stop the stealing. Because this money is going to people's pockets. And we do not know how much money is enough for some of these people. By the way, I hear that a lot of them are already beginning to see the inevitable will happen. So they're beginning to make ways of exiting even before they are caught up. I think it's a terrible situation. Yeah.
Let's switch gears now. And CAF, you know very well, football committee of the continental one, has said that Kenya may not be eligible to host the 2027 AFCON because A, there's a fee of about 3.6 billion shillings that hasn't been paid, and our stadia are not ready for it. Talanta, Nyayo, Kasarani. Yeah, they're not ready.
You sure thing. You know, I'm a soccer lover. Although a lot of Kenyans love Arsenal.
Yes.
This is so close and never there. Yeah. And we used to go out there with Raila and Oparanya. Oparanya, surviving enthusiast of Arsenal. But I think Kenyans love soccer. I'm actually a patron of Sofapaka, Batoto Bamungu. And when I was young, I used to play for the National Assembly. I scored the only goal against a German Bundestag and the floodlights at Nyayo Stadium.
Yes.
And although my late friend Raila was a good commentator, but he was not as good a player as I was. But when I see an opportunity that Kenya can host AFCON, and then they want to squander that, it is regrettable. It is really regrettable. But I think it was one of the bases of the East African countries, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania.
Yeah.
I hope the other two countries are ready. If they are ready, we'll push these guys. We'll push them. But if you look at the story of Talanta itself, it's another corruption issue. Kenya Commercial Bank was forced to do certain things there. The whole thing against males of corruption. It's a beautiful stadium, you look at it. But again, terrible.
Yeah.
Nothing seems to have worked for these people.
And the rain keeps falling.
The rain keeps falling.
By the way, which team do you support?
Sorry?
English team.
The ship?
English team. Which
English, for right now?
Yeah.
Of course, I'm Arsenal still. I'm Arsenal. Ooh. Oh. Yeah, I used to have my friend Mudavadi, my DVD.
Yes.
He's a fan, I think, unless you are changed, of the Red Devils. What are they?
Those ones.
I said, you will not walk alone. That was the clarion call. But I'm still Arsenal.
Wonderful.
And I hope that this time around, this Manchester City, I don't know, they have a capacity to reinvent themselves and
last minute.
That little Saka fellow, wonderful.
Excellent. Let's switch gears.
Yeah.
Infrastructure. SGR is proposed, is going off from Naivasha to Kisumu, from Kisumu to Malaba.
Yes.
Is that a good idea? Are we ever going to recoup our funds once this is rolling?
Again, the whole thing is shrouded in some secrecy. Kenyans want to know. It is not bad to have infrastructure. That is what Uhuru did under Jubilee, the Standard Railway. We would have done it. We should be thinking of speed trains, right? And my priority has always been Mombasa-Nairobi. And Mombasa-Nairobi is a killer road, right? We will give that top priority. Of course, the traffic jam between Nairobi, Nakuru, to all the way to, of course, Ising, Rironi to Mau Summit was originally to be done by the French. They were shortchanged. I think a lot of reparations were paid to the French company, right?
Yep.
Kenyan taxpayer money again, right? And until William Ruto now comes again with CBRC, everything seems to be CRBC in this country, including the railway city, right? So the British are also asking, what in the world is going on here, okay? So there must be fair competition. But more importantly, Kenyans at the end of the day who end up paying, this is Kenya's taxpayers' money. They want nothing but transparency, okay? Even as we put pressure, because it's important, I know President Museveni, the old man in the region, was there to join William Ruto as they're extending this railway line. But all of this is okay. But look, William Ruto has been invited to go to France in the month of June.
Correct.
By President Macron, right? To be a participant in the G7.
Yep.
At the same time, he's denying these French companies of using Kenya taxpayers' money to compensate the French company, which had won the tender. So some of these things are incredible, really. We hope that the truth will eventually get known. So, yeah, again, we don't know. Nobody seems to know.
Yeah.
And the same William Ruto will say, by the way, I hope he quickly constructs the road to my village. He said that. Those Kenyans who live in Sekuru also are taxpayers. And these projects have been delayed. I'll be telling these Kambas when I move down tomorrow that from Kibwezi through Mwingi to Maua in Meru to Isiolo, that is the shortest route to landlocked Ethiopia. And that road is delayed by over 10 years. So now William Ruto is trying to say, because he sees the threat coming from our side, he wants to tell those Mukambas, I'm doing something for you. Let him do it quickly.
At the same time, there's a lot of development happening in only certain regions. I'm sure you've noticed.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've noticed.
Yes, yes.
Is that political? Is that deliberate?
We don't know. Again, that old story. Remember, the right to development is a basic right. Raila and I spend our lifetime trying to tell Kenyans that please do not go and bow down and say, Your Excellency, Mr. President, we want this road, we want this thing. There's a committee in Parliament dealing with budgeting, all right? And so let there be equal development. And therefore, the essence of devolution, which William Ruto has been trying to kill. Governors are crying. Even the procurement systems is also getting interfered with. Yeah. So the governors now cannot procure independently or whatever. So everybody in the country is completely unhappy and very unsettled. So an equal development, yet the right to development. You get people going to State House to be paid 10,000 shillings attendance fee. And but there are a lot of them are asking, now when we go to this State House under Big 10 and we are given 10,000 shillings and then our details are taken, they scan the IDs, could this be another attempt at rigging? That's why I started by saying we will not leave anything to chance.
You were part of 3 administrations or maybe more. And look, our pride and joy.
I mean, AI can now build a website in 90 seconds, while the only AI most people know is ChatGPT.
Then they went to Kigali. And you see what Kagame has done? Is got, I think Qatar Airways has bought some 49% shares, I can be corrected, in Rwanda Air. And if you travel the world, you find that London Heathrow, for example, where Qatar Airways parks, that is Air Rwanda parks there. Now, this is a shame. But the solution is not by bringing in characters like Andani who have been indicted in the US for underhand dealings and hope they can transform Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. It needs a bit more openness in approach. Maybe one could have talked to Emirates, other people. I've always had this dream. It's not a dream. I've asked experts to look at it. Now that we have a lot of instability in the Gulf countries, don't you think it's about time we develop Mombasa as another Dubai? It is possible. This is the way to go. All right? So as we do so, we must have a first-class international airport.
Are we going to Dubai or are we going to Singapore? Which one are you going to? I mean, decide.
I told you, we start by taking stock of Vision 2030, okay? And kill corruption. You can't go nowhere without, first of all, addressing the basics, the national mood, right? And the thieving culture. We must stop it because you can't go anywhere. There's a clip which is circulating by the Prime Minister of Singapore.
Lee Kuan Yew.
Lee Kuan Yew was celebrating his 90 years. But the current Prime Minister invites him for a cutting ceremony. And what Lee Kuan Yew told the Prime Minister, if you remember nothing, remember one thing, clean government. Now, would this government pretend for a minute they are clean government and they can take us to Singapore? You hear more ridiculous things. My friend Dr. Oburu remembered that Raila used to say, we are going to Canaan. All right? So now because he's in a hurry to cut a deal with William Ruto, he says, oh, we are going to Canaan via Singapore. So we have to be realistic. You have to be realistic, Jeff.
You were Foreign Affairs Minister, the youngest in Africa.
At the time, maybe.
At the time, yes.
Yeah.
Yesterday, the president held a meeting with ambassadors. And the thing that came out is Kenya is a failed state. He was not very happy about that. Your thoughts?
You see, those days it used to be that communication was through the famous diplomatic bag, right? What we must be telling our ambassadors and high commissioners, our members of the diplomatic corps, is economic diplomacy. And that's what I've spent a sizable time talking to you about, that we attract investment so that we revive these industries, so that these young Kenyans will wake up every morning from Kibera going to the industrial area will perchance find a job, and that those factories eventually will begin to work and 24-hour economy shifts, some working at night, some working during the day, so that we can deal with this problem of unemployment. Unemployment today is the biggest thorn. Yeah. And yet, we have a youth budge, which can be turned around to become the world-beating innovators. So he met these ambassadors. I think he does not have much to tell them. As I started by saying, my friend William is a botanist. That's why he doesn't know the law of inheritance. Where you write a will and you do whatever, and it's not the president's business to question a will. That is the work of the courts of law and other people. So stop those threats about some of these issues and focus attention on how to develop this country. And I think this is why, seriously today, Jeff, I've prepared William Ruto to accept that he's going to be one term. And it's not a crime. In fact, he should thank the Kenyans for allowing him to live through one term.
You were very instrumental as Foreign Affairs Minister in regional conflicts.
Yes.
From South Sudan to Burundi to DRC to you name it. I'm not sure if warlords then were granted Kenyan passports.
No.
But what's happening now in the Greater Sudan with RSF leaders getting Kenyan passports?
It's worse than that, Jeff. This country is a transit country for arms, right? Through RSF, getting RSF here, getting money, getting arms across to go and fight in Sudan. And I must remind our viewers that I did quite a lot to work for the fact of through comprehensive peace agreement, CPA, the Republic of South Sudan, it remains the newest republic in the country, in the world. But apart from South Sudan, there's of course Khartoum, which has been destroyed. Darfur is a gold-producing region. That is why we had the famous Janjaweed.
That's right.
During President, that time President Bashir's reign. All right? Yep. And I had to convince Bashir at that time to allow John Garang to allow Khartoum to be Sharia-free during the duration of the comprehensive peace agreement. I had to get President Bouteflika, who's since rested, of Algeria, to work on Bashir. And then that's how we got things going. Of course, Dr. John, we miss him a lot, the father figure of South Sudan. So what is happening between William Ruto and RSF is bad. First of all, these are the pure, I wouldn't say call them Arabs, because there's a personality around Sudan which is very unique. But the Janjaweeds don't like black Africans.
Yes.
They have killed a lot of them.
Yeah.
In fact, even as the war in the Gulf continues, there's killing field in Sudan, in our neighborhood here. Kenya is a participant. Our foreign policy orientation has always been active non-interference in affairs of other countries. That is why we were trusted to be the go-between, to be the arbiters, to promote peace and reconciliation. And did that, even in Burundi, with the late Mwalimu Julius Nyerere. One time we put sanctions against Burundi, they didn't seem to work, and President Mandela came on board. Even the DRC, when Kabila was taking over Kinshasa, Kabila Senior, and Mzee Moi and I went to Togo, and the late Dr. Ahmed Salim was Secretary General of OAU. We used to have what they call the central organ for conflict management and resolution. Now it has become a complete Security Council for AU, for African countries. We were able to help Somalia. And Somalia, in the month of May, I hope they're going to get their act right as well and have some elections. South Sudan is supposed to have elections as well by December. We wish them well. So I've been watching this. Ethiopia, of course, is at the moment having some serious shocks. Yeah. And the war in Ogaden that time was a big issue. I declared myself a member of a clan in Somalia called Digli Merifli because we got Buster Bethel Kiplagat here and I to work very hard. We formed the TNG. We handed over government to the world in Somalia. It didn't seem to work until the Islamic courts took over. So, and of course I forgot to tell you, I was the first chair of the Ministerial Tripartite Commission that restarted East African Community. Mwalimu, at that time it was Ali Hassan Mwinyi,
yes.
Mzee Museveni and Mzee Moi, who decided they wanted to start the community. And I was privileged. Rugunda is, I think, the current prime minister in Uganda. And before Kikwete, there was a minister called Regasira and myself. I was the chair. And we started this thing at KICC. So I'm very proud that integration has been happening. But under the watch of William Ruto, the last 1 year has been a disaster. DRC is a member of East African Community. They have not even paid up their membership. South Sudan is also a member. Okay, Somalia joined as a member. I don't think they have paid up their membership. So the future is in integration, so that the bigger the economies, the more opportunities there are for the young people. So we have these templates, and we want to, I'm in a hurry to get these things working. Yeah.
Those passports were given illegally.
Passport, of course, is terrible. What has happened is terrible. That would never have happened. You know, young Kenyans are struggling to get their passports, right? They can't get them. But a warlord walks into the 23rd floor of that building, what is it called?
Nyayo House.
Nyayo House. And you get, so passports are on sale. And that degrades the value of the Kenyan passport. What actually that means is any Kenyan traveling anywhere will be seen like an accomplice of the war in Sudan. It is terrible. It's unacceptable. And we have made it clear, we issued a statement that these things should be cancelled.
The government says it's procedural.
Procedural? We know that what that means. They've been paid handsomely to give those. And again, the gold trade, I forgot to mention, between Darfur, illegal gold, if you like, blood gold, is exported to the Gulf countries through JKIA, cleaned here, given certificate of origin as Kenyan gold. Now we have our gold in Kakamega, we should be working on now in a transparent manner, okay? But this is what has been happening. It's anything this administration has touched, it's a scandal.
Staying with foreign affairs, the war in Iran right now,
Yeah.
this is going to spike oil prices, either way you look at it.
I saw one day the expert, expert friend, who should be the majority leader in the National Assembly,
Yes.
saying,
we have a million.
saying, no, we have enough stocks, we have enough stocks.
Yeah.
Of course, we all pray that, because I saw the statement by Mark Rubio, that with a matter of weeks, maybe, before these hostilities stop. Of course, the struggle over the Strait of Hormuz, whether it is the sovereignty goes to Iran or to the US, and I saw that President Trump has said he has given moratorium before he hits Iran again over the Strait of Hormuz. Let us hope that some discussions are going to happen, and somehow that Strait of Hormuz will be open, because then I think if it doesn't happen, the implications are already here. So William Ruto's administration is accusing businessmen of hoarding, that they are waiting to make a killing because of anticipated shortfall in oil supplies. That is a dangerous situation. We can all hope that these hostilities will end, because what is happening in that region, in the Middle East, has a big impact worldwide.
Absolutely. Speaking of the Middle East, also Palestine, what's been going on the last couple
Gaza.
It's nuts, crazy.
You talk about over 80,000 people dead.
Imagine.
And even now, in southern Lebanon, quite a bit happening there. You see, a lot of Kenyans believe you cannot fight and win against Israel. It's in the Bible.
Yeah.
So I don't blame anybody. But again, these excesses need to be negotiated and brought to a conclusion.
A lot of people have been talking about a two-state solution. Is that what it should be?
Can I surprise you?
Go on.
I went into Ramallah and met President Abbas in the occupied West Bank when I was vice president. And then I just met with the president of Israel, and they had a good working relationship. He actually asked that I go talk to him. I realized these people are talking. And then they actually said, now, Vice President, you go carry out your elections and come, continue. I think that's my forte. I like to work for peace anywhere, given an opportunity. But that did not happen, because 2013 came, and then we all know the rest is history. I've never been back.
The rest, as they say, is history. Back home, a lot of farmers are complaining that fertilizer prices are crazy.
Everything.
Going through the roof.
Everything. Remember, there was fertilizer gush, right? Another scandal. And I tried to talk to Minister Lenturi, who was fired as Minister for Agriculture. He was taken as a scapegoat, all right? The effect of that on the farm, on our industry, the farming, because this is a country, and I really love these young Kenyans. They are even going into smart farming. You see them on their computers doing incredible things. But we need fertilizer. We need fertilizer. Fertilizer gush came, lined people's pockets. It's the same story. That nothing this administration touches which is not underpinned by corruption considerations.
Look, looking back, you're 40 plus years in government, in politics. Greatest achievement, greatest regret.
Yeah, wow. I think the fact I'm still there to tell the story and to fix, to try to offer a solution gives me a sense of pride that I have not. When I went into Parliament as a young Kenyan at age 30, an auntie of mine told me in an open baraza, mtoto wangu, kwenda ukachunge uongozi vile mimi auntie wako nimechunga doa yangu. Now that was very deep. That was, yani mama huyo alichunga doa, akasema nikachunge uongozi vile yeye amechunga hiyo doa yake. I think I've lived true to that challenge. And that auntie, who since I've rested many years now, I am proud that I have not let her down. Therefore, that's a sense of achievement at that level. Of course, I know I represent a big constituency. A lot of them will feel, you've been in opposition these 15 years with Raila. Now at least Raila went in there, although he didn't believe in it. I can tell you I'm writing that in a book. Raila did not believe in the broad-based thing. That's why Edwin Sifuna is carrying that vision, along with Jim Orengo. Those are the few people carrying my late brother's vision within ODM. And I wish them well. So, that whole thing smacks of great uncertainty. But my regret then is these people feel we've been in opposition. Others say you go to government to eat. They feel disenfranchised because, of course, if I was in government with Raila, some of the high professionals will have come from my party. So these are 15 years of deprivation. And they're asking how long. So to me, that's a regret. And I want to assure them their time is coming. Their time is coming, but of course we'll lay emphasis on meritocracy. That is what Kibaki and us started. So nobody should expect to get easy appointment as ambassador, as permanent secretary, as minister.
Yeah.
But those regions have been marginalized. And where William Ruto wants to use somebody, he uses mediocrity to give the impression that the region is taken care of. That's my regret, that there are people who feel that because of me, they have not achieved what the objectives were. And yeah, I remember Mzee Moja, who is an old respected friend called David Mosela. Mosela could have been minister, but because of me, he never became. He could have been governor. He never became governor. So I kind of have a sense of regret that some people whose hopes were hinged on my own career progression may not have achieved their own objectives. But on the whole, I think that God's plan is the best. I believe it is divinity, and I'm not being dogmatic about it. I think politics also is a calling. For me, it has been a calling, and I want to see it through. This calling, I want to see it through for the benefit of my fellow citizens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you look at ODM, the split right now, you just talked about Sifuna and Orengo, and of course Babu and the rest of that split. And there's, of course, there's Dr. Buru, and there's Gladys Wanga, there's Abdul Samad on the other side. Is Orange split down the middle?
Obviously, because what happens in a sister party affects all of us. Because Kenya is a multi-party democracy. Although we may not be on the same side with them, but please remember that ODM just gave notice, but not that ODM, not Sifuna's ODM. Karoli Omondi on Friday, was it, to Fungamano, loudly said, ODM is in Azimio la Umoja, one Kenya. Dr. Oburu's faction gave notice to withdraw from Azimio. So I have a direct interest in what is happening. And I think my coalition colleagues as well. But I can tell you, you heard me say, I spend a sizable chunk of my political life working with Raila Odinga. And I knew his mind. And that's why I went to mourn him in my own way when he passed on, because his friend did not even give us notice, didn't even allow us to bury him in the kind of time we would want. So we had to catch up with Raila Odinga. But I happen to know he was not for this broad-based government. And so when you see Jim Orengo, you see Raila Odinga. Peter Nyang'nyong is another Raila Odinga. But I know that Peter is given an assignment to work on the Singapore Road, for example. So he may be a little quiet, but I know Peter Anyang', Jim Orengo, Edwin Sifuna, Osotsi, all right? And to some extent, Oparanya. But Oparanya seems to get mixed up. He's my friend. He once told me, oh, you, Kalonzo, you have no money, blah, blah, blah. I have some sweets in my mouth. You want to take the sweets out? I laughed. I don't think he's sitting pretty and comfortable. So, the Sifuna team is very clear. They are saying they are with us in the one-term Clarion Call, which, by the way, has become a national anthem.
Finally.
So, we hope to work with them to make this country better. It reminds me of what happened between LDP, then Rainbow, and I was one of them. It was me, the first signatory, Raila Odinga, George Saitoti, Mudi Awori, right? Rainbow.
Yes.
And then Kibaki, Kijano Amalwa, and Charity Ngilu in NAK. We're almost getting there. History repeats itself. I think we're most likely going to get together. And if we do, I think it was in the best interest of the country.
All right. Mahesh, you get the final word. Speak to Kenyans. What do you tell them going forward?
Well, thank you, Jeff, for the opportunity. I know we are all hurting. Affording even medical bills is a problem. Putting food on the table is a problem. Kenyans are hurting every which way. But I want to remind them of what the late Reverend Jesse Jackson said. He was buried the other day when he started the Rainbow Movement. He was a civil rights activist. And he said, America, keep hope alive. I want to tell fellow Kenyans, we must not give up. But we must also say no, and firmly no to misrule, to confusion in terms of governance of our country. Say never again shall we allow an institution like IEBC to mess up with the people's future. Because a lot decide. The moment you mess up with IEBC, you're messing up the future of this country. So let's all join together and together take out the votes now. An opportunity has arisen. I know that young Kenyans are still very angry. They were very doubtful about even registering. They say, what for? But they have come up on their own volition. Hashtag Tukokadi. Let's allow them that space. For once, I am not the one to tell them, do ABC, because they know precisely. But we'll be there with them. These are our children. We'll walk with them. We'll make sure reparations are done. And we'll make sure never again will the police guide goons to go and beat innocent Kenyans as if we are a terrorist state. We are going to get these things right. And the time is now.
Keep hope alive.
Keep hope alive.
Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, or SKM to his friends, he wants to be president. Will he be number 6? He's always been the bridesmaid, never the bride. Is this his moment? What do you think? Lots of tweets coming in very thick and very fast. We're going to go back to the studio. Olive, what are the people saying?
All right, thank you, Jeff. Lots of feedback. Let's sample a few. Here we have, let's see who's first up. Here we have the CEO Amoit Company. We tried a plant expert. He kept watering problems and pruning solutions. Now let's try a lawyer. At least they know how to argue the weeds out of the system. All right, let's see. This is Prono 974905. Seems the show was about William Ruto. We waited anxiously thinking Manstivo will tell us the plan. Still no plan. All right, this is at M. Ndalo, who says Kalonzo official should ask Kwavinya Ndeti to pay suppliers and genuine contractors, suppliers, for it will tarnish his name. What is going on in Machakos County is shameful to Wiper as a party. This is at Vinny Majanga, who says, does Honorable Kalonzo mean if they don't win the election, it will have been stolen? We should stop this notion that if one doesn't win, it means it was unfair. We should sober up. Having people in rallies doesn't count to votes to be isn't tantamount to votes being casted. All right, this is at Size Mo Allen, who says, I'd want to know why he was nicknamed Watermelon. Today, the whole country has seen an agendaless individual. Empty talk, a lot of English. No wonder Sekuru is seeing tarmac road in 2026, 40 years with him being in government in all fashions. Thank you, Jeff. We now know better. This is at Kipla Bet, who says future President Kalonzo has been loyal to the late Right Honorable Raila Odinga. That automatically means ako saidi yetu hadi mwisho. Ujue uko na kura yangu hapa bonde la ufa. This is at Neil Son, who says, as currently is, Kalonzo Musyoka stands the best chance to be president today. He's more unifying than any other politician, has a good diplomatic rating, and has a solid legal background. He's the best pick from both the KK regime and the United Opposition. He has my vote in 2027. This is Rachel, who says at Kalonzo Musyoka has always been calm and collected. He understands the 2010 Constitution very well. I admire his eloquence too. This is Makoha Godwin, who says, please tell Kalonzo Musyoka, as the elder of the opposition, to make sure that all the members of the opposition gang up against William Ruto. We are taking votes, but having Musyoka, Fred Matiang'i, Rigathi, and Edwin Sifuna, all of them on the ballot, the registration will be of no value. This is at Muchesia Anyika, who says, why can't Kalonzo become a good elder and guide young people such as Sifuna and Ndindi Nyoro to the presidency and Babu for Nairobi governor instead of vying?